Not often we get such a rare insight into the personal thoughts of a senior member of the British monarchy, but on this occasion we did. And for the person who's the recipient, it can't have been good reading, can it? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. As ever, nice to see you. Hope you're keeping well, whatever you're doing. Apparently the heat wave's on its way again. I know I'm obsessed, aren't I? Don't worry, I've got my Fab 208 lolly. I love the fact that you all remembered those as well, you know. I love stuff like that, don't you? Nostalgia, retro, and do things taste a lot better from years ago. I got a Karamak bar the other day. I haven't seen one of those for years. And I thought, oh, I used to love those, real treat, you know. Bought it, couldn't taste a thing. And then somebody cruelly said in the studio, oh, that's because when you get older, your taste buds subside. How about killing the moment? I just love that, don't you, with the millennials, you know. Oh no, it can never be the fact that they've taken a good ingredient out or anything like that. It's got to be your age. It's always your age, whatever you're doing, isn't it? Back as ever though to your Breaking Balls story of the day. This particular story centres on the late Princess Diana and of course Prince Charles, and it's interesting to note really because as we've often said here on the show, you only ever really get one side of that story, you know, because it's the story that the media wanted to paint of that time. And you also have to remember this is pre-internet, you know, so a lot of those stories that are now regimented and people's you know, sort of stuck in their minds, they all really started before the world of the internet. And of course newspapers, as we know, could really make up things by just either completely fabricating them or indeed having a loose association with someone concerned or connected to the late princess. But this particular gentleman, Paul Burrell, who he described himself as Diana's rock, really didn't turn out to be, well, possibly the most sturdiest of companions moving forward. Now, I've met Mr. Burrell on a couple of occasions and he's done incredibly well for himself, as do a lot of ex-servants and, you know, assistants, whichever they want to call themselves, you know. Press officers have written books, he's written numerous books, made thousands, possibly millions from his association with Princess Diana, pops up on all those TV documentaries, and who are we to say whether his version of events is the real or non-real one? But of course, you know, making money from cruise lines, his own wines, books, as I say, it's a lucrative game if you've worked for the British monarchy. But from this particular letter that we saw, it appears that Prince Charles was not really a fan of the ex-footman, and I think it's glaringly obvious why. But of course it really just cements exactly the thoughts and minds of what's really going through someone like Prince Charles's mind at that time. As you can see, when the letter was written, he would have been incredibly annoyed and angry. But I thought it also gave a great census as to really what the true story of the person was. People had decided to take sides, hadn't they? And clearly, you know, he wasn't on the side of the rock, as he liked to describe himself. What's interesting also though is that this could be particularly damaging because now, you know, I've been told by a very good source, and as ever, we have to say allegedly, that Prince Charles is really kind of happy for this to be out in the public domain. It's a letter that was available to be bought at auction. And I'm always stunned as to why people put these things up. I mean, you know, they are private correspondence, and you would have felt that these things should be best remained private, but seemingly not. Somebody wants to sell it. But as I say, it gives us a very big insight, and it's going to be interesting to see how damaging this could be to the former footman moving forward with his career, particularly in America, where he's very lucrative on those associations and deals and TV sort of you know, pop-up slots when they're commemorating Diana or indeed talking about the British monarchy. The one thing that I would say about these people though, in particular, as I say, the ex-staff members, is you have to remember that they're talking about a time now over 25 years ago. So while their memories are probably interesting and valid to a point, let's not forget that they haven't been close, ever been re-invited back to the palace, or seen any of the royals up close and personal for many, many years. So of course they can have their version of events, but as we've seen with this letter from Prince Charles, his version of events too is rather intriguing. I'm sure you'll agree. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.